Ah. Hello, welcome back to Classic Helmets here in Northern Ireland. Now today is part 2 of I bought 4 mystery Arai helmets sight unseen, and as I mentioned at the end of the last video, there'd be a part 2 where I would look at the helmets again and clean any of them up, replace any parts, and just a bit of general titivation here and there to bring them up to my high standards. So without further delay, let's crack on. Now firstly, this Freddie Spencer replica helmet here, I am fairly sure has had some crash damage, or at least been dropped. There is a horrible mark which goes all the way through pretty much to the shell. So this helmet will be broken up for spares. That will happen in a later video. This one I don't need for now. What should we start off with first then? Let's go with the Monster Hopkins.
What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster?
So this rather lovely 2008 John Hopkins Monster Energy replica is actually, in terms of paintwork and all the vents and mechanisms, actually working pretty well, and the interior liners are also not too bad. They can just clean up. The one issue I did find was trying to get the visor off initially was causing the base plate and the side pod to slightly flex, and we don't want that. That's not a good sign. So I'm just going to take off this base plate and put another one on. I think it's okay, but as a precautionary, that's what I'd like to do first. Don't lose the screws. Now, having another look at this, it looks okay. Okay, I think I realise what was happening now. So, usually when you'd put the side pod, which I have here, back on the helmet, there's usually 2 lugs that mount in a certain position for it to go on, and usually you would click this red tab back here. Yeah, that's not right. So usually you'd push this tab back here and it would lie flat, which it isn't. That's why it wasn't coming on or off easily. So that's good to know. So this one is ready for the bin. But I do have a replacement, and this looks like it's working. Yeah, that's working really well. So we'll get this one back on and get it cleaned up. Make sure the surface area is nice and clean. Just going to put a little bit of degreaser spray on the base plate just to make sure things are nice and greased up. Just going to put them in sort of just before finger tight initially. There we go. So what I want to do next is I want to actually push the base plate forward slightly. You can actually slightly pivot these, push them forward and back. I want to push them forward because that means the visor will go on a little bit easier. That's pretty good. Yeah, happy with that. Now the side pod is black, so it's hard to see, but the lugs, both top and bottom, are intact and looking very good. So it's just a case of putting this back on, and then hopefully the visor can go back on easily as well. I want to make sure that that red tab is pushed back, which it is. So that red tab is pushed back. That's what you're looking for. When the bottom lug clicks into place in the red tab, that should push it forward and lock it in position. This bit always scares me, so wish me a little bit of luck. That's in. Now I'm looking for it to click. You hear that nice click? That was the red tab locking against the black lug and pushing in. Well and truly in position there. I'm happy with that. That's really good. All it needs now is a quick clean up. I won't bother showing you that in too much detail. Right, this helmet has had the base plate and side pod put back on, and a quick service and just a general clean. Didn't need too much. It looks absolutely superb. The pearlescent paintwork on the black is really coming through. The camera won't pick this up too much, but the interior liners actually have cleaned up quite nicely as well. So that is very positive. That's very good indeed. If this one was in slightly better condition, these still go for about £250 in the chaser format, Vector, if you're the American, Japanese market. If you had the RX-7, top of the range with the big sporty diffusers, you'd be looking £500–600 in terms of what they're worth roughly nowadays, in clean condition with the box and the manuals, etc. This one, it's not quite that level, so I have got a customer who takes a lot of my sort of trade helmets off me. This is going to be part of that job lot that he'll get off me as a trade helmet. So the last stage in the process is to put the visor back on. Now this is the problem that I noticed when taking the visor off, so I'm hoping, just going to put a little bit of lubricant penetrant spray on the visor mechanism edges, that this should hopefully go on nicely and be in full working order. Let's get rid of the excess. Come on, let's do this. Well, that went on really well, and it's not flexing. So that base plate change was a necessity. Yep, and we're back on nicely. Perfect. Absolutely wonderful. So this Hopkins Monster Energy replica is ready to go. Now it's time for helmet number 2. So this is a Arai Condor Voltage Blue. The camera might pick up. I also have a Voltage Red. Both same helmet models, just different colour designs. They also had, I believe, a yellowy orange one. And I think that's pretty much about it. They did 3 colourways for the Voltage design. First things first, let's get the visor off. Visor's a bit scratched, but not sure if we can rescue that. We'll have a go though. Okay, that's off on that side. A little bit fiddly being an older model. And that's off as well. For some reason, with the black visor, the previous owner has put on a pin lock from a different model Arai, which is larger, and has had to drill a hole in the visor. Now I'm just going to put the aftermarket pin lock pin back in the original hole, and I'm going to have to press it on the table to get it into position just a little bit firmly. Ah, there you go, made a nice pop noise there. So that's back in position where it should be roughly, so that's pretty good. Next step, nice and simple, give the helmet a good clean. Again, I won't film this because I will do a video dedicated to how I clean Arai and Shoei helmets. Okay, so this one has had a clean, and actually it's looking really good. There are no marks on the shell at all to mention. Very clean, very tidy, pearlescent coming through on the black detailing. Interior liners, yep, they show some signs of wear, but actually again they've cleaned up really, really well, so I'm very happy with that. Next step, the step I fear the most, is putting a visor back on the helmet. Lovely. Yeah, fine. Let's give it a bit of a wiggle. Feels pretty good to me. A bit more in here. Yeah, perfect now, much better. So that is the Arai Condor Voltage Blue. Quick service and clean up. lubrication of the visor mechanisms, that is ready to go. So let's move on to the last helmet of the bundle to clean up. So the last helmet is this Arai Torcos. I think it's called something like Dark Storm. And, oh yep, I remember now, I took the cheek pads were already loose in this. And I took the crown pad off as well, so I can get those cleaned up easily. But the helmet is really working fine, looking very good. I'm actually going to go into point of view mode and show you how to take off the base plates, peak and visor, so I can give them a bit of a clean around there as well. Okay, so you join me in point of view mode. We have the Arai Torcos in front of me down here. I basically would like to get the peak and the visor off, which means removing these base plates and screws here. So let us crack on with that task. Just being a little bit careful because these are the original white screws and they're a little bit indented, so always try and do them evenly and reasonably loosely. There's also this little left hand and right hand sort of highlight graphic as well, so you know how to put them back on. Don't lose any of the screws, obviously, that would be suicidal. Screws actually in very good condition. Just going to put these back with their respective ones. And over to the right side. What this means is that we can now take off the visor and peak carefully. So put the helmet back to the neutral position. Peak comes off. And then visor comes off. Visor actually in excellent condition. Mint condition, I'd say. So yeah, this helmet is looking very good indeed. So next step is just to basically give it a clean up and then it's ready to go. I won't bore you with the details of how I clean the helmet on this occasion again, so I will cut to the next scene. So the helmet has been cleaned, as well as the visor, the peak, and I've given the interior liners a nice clean too. Actually, the helmet itself really was not bad. It was in very good condition in terms of the cleanliness and the paintwork and the internals, and the visor's got no marks on it, and the peak as well. The helmet really shows not much in terms of signs of use. So I'll pull the camera a bit closer and I'll show you how I get the internal padding liners back in and how I get the peak and the visor back on. So give me a couple of seconds. So I think firstly we'll get the crown liner back in. That's the easier of the chores to do. So four snapper poppers. The rear two are a little bit quieter than the front two. There we go. And that is the crown liner back in. Cheek pads. These are quite easy to do. Some people put them in the wrong way around because you do have the little ribbed section here and here. So always make sure that the kind of angular going up is kind of what's on the cheek. So we need to put that in this side. Easier side first. And there's a small lug at the back, so we put that in the back section first. And it should make a sort of a, not necessarily click with it, but like it feels like a click going in. Like that. There we go. So that's in nicely. Pull the strap out far enough. And that is now seated fine as well. And the other side, a bit more pernickety, let's say. But again, nice and easy. Oh, that one didn't go in, the rear popper. It has now. Pull it through, start at the back, and then slide it through. Make sure everything's in position correctly, which it is. And a nice clicking motion there as well. So that's the interior liners back in position. Make sure they're nice and even, which they are. So we have the rib section facing up. Just do up the double D-rings. And now for the bit that is a little bit fiddly, but I've done it before, so we'll do it again. I'm actually just going to lube up these little base plates here very quickly. There we go. Forget my brain if it wasn't on my head, or in my head. And the reason why I'm doing this is because over time you can get a tiny bit of sort of, not necessarily lack appeal, but the paint just slightly picks on, so I want to keep that as good as I can. So firstly go on the visors, they actually match up with the base plates nicely. That's a reassuring sound, that's what we want to hear. And now the peak should go on relatively nicely. So just match up these portholes here. Now we've got the left hand side, which is this one here. This is where it can get quite fiddly, so I'm just going to shut up and concentrate for a couple of seconds. Just going to put them on just a bit more than finger tight because I want the other side to go on easily. That's on nicely. That means I can put this down evenly and really match everything up. You want these white screws actually relatively tight, but I'm just going to finger tight them on first and make sure that the peak is, we want it adjustable, and the visor as well. Yeah, everything is working as it should. You actually should be able to tighten them to the point where they face the same direction, so let's just have a look at the other side. Right, that's looking good. So you see they're facing upwards, and you can still move the peak a little bit if you want to, and the visor is able to move freely because of the base plates and how they've been set up. Quick wipe, excess fingerprints out the way, and that is how you replace the cheek pads and set up the peak on most Arai Torcos models. Nice little job to do, and the helmet looks lovely. Well, there we have it. 3 perfectly serviceable helmets. These are being traded out. They've been cleaned up. Quick service here and there. Internal liners cleaned, base plates lubricated up, peaks and other visor mechanisms and vents where applicable have also been looked at and double checked that they're working and performing perfectly fine. Well, thank you very much for tuning into Classic Helmets. If you'd like to see more content featuring some classic, obscure and very collectible Arai and Shoei helmets, please subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, that would be fantastic. Please feel free to comment if you have any questions or any thoughts or any comments in general. Please also consider giving the video a share. So from Northern Ireland, thank you very much. You've been watching Classic Helmets. Goodbye.